That's right! Welcome to the side of the ring because it's time for Ringside. Got a bunch of news lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen, so without further ado, we're just gonna... Sting was one of the only, quote, dissenting voices within AEW when it came to him winning his last match at Revolution, reports SI's Justin Barrasso. Sting wanted the Young Bucks to win as he holds them, quote, in extremely high esteem, but, quote, that simply was not going to happen as Tony Khan and the Bucks all firmly believe that Sting should end his career with a victory. Listen, I love Sting. He's an incredible wrestler. Wonderful tenure, right? Legend of the business. I really don't think him losing his last match was really gonna, have any type of, lasting effects. You know what I mean? He won, and then as soon as he won, they vacated the titles. So, you were really only doing that just to sort of, put a number on the board, you know? I don't think anybody is gonna be walking on the sidewalk and think and be like, oh my god, Sting, what an incredible guy. But shame he lost the last match. Oh well, I'm gonna hate him forever now. You know what I mean? I really don't think him losing the match against the Bucks is gonna do anything. All in all, I really don't think Sting winning changed anything. I don't think him losing really would have made a gigantic impact on anything. But he won, and yeah, I mean, good for him. Sticking with Sports Illustrated, the report also covered Darby Allin's glass spot and the special safety measures taken for it, such as planning and rehearsing it with a stunt coordinator and having doctors nearby during the match. Browse also wrote that, quote, there was a plan B with a different finish in the event. Allen could not return to the match, which turned out to be no more than a precaution. I already talked about this, about how Allen is going to be 40 years old and he's not going to be able to lift his elbow, I don't think you had to do the glass spot, I don't think you had to do the glass spot in the way that it was done, but, I mean, he did it, and he's okay. Well, as okay can be for going through a glass table off of a ladder, right? Thank goodness, no other safety measures needed to be taken, and in fairness, they did have the proper, precautions in place. They had doctors, and they rehearsed it and everything like that, so it wasn't just Darby Allin just being I just want to jump off of something through glass, and they were like, yeah, sure, so that's good to know. Again, he's okay, and, man, I already said this, hopefully he doesn't do anything like this again, hopefully he doesn't do anything more extreme, but it's Darby Allin. I mean, this is 2008, 2009 Jeff Hardy, so I say that, this is prime Jeff Hardy, I should say. This is 2002, 2005 Jeff Hardy, where he's literally just, whatever high surface he can find, he's just leaping off of. So, I mean, as much as I want to say, hopefully this is the last time he does it, it's not. So I guess all we can do is just sit here and hope that he doesn't get any more injured than he's already gotten, I guess. Moving over to WWE, in addition to his comments about Vince McMahon and the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference this week, TKO President Mark Shapiro also revealed that the company's talks with Netflix initially were about WWE NXT. That's incredibly interesting because, as you know, Netflix is hosting Raw. So it makes you think that, if WWE, it makes you think that if NXT wasn't moving over to the CW, I wonder if, in a different timeline, the news outlets would be screaming and crying about NXT being taken over by Netflix. And I wonder if that would change anything. I wonder if the format or anything. Well, I know that they said that they were going to start doing more commercial breaks and stuff, and even I was that's probably going to be something that they start doing, but I'm assuming picture-in-picture is gonna make its way in fairly soon. But I wonder if they were going to do anything different with NXT. There's not really much to say because obviously we moved on. We're going with Raw, and NXT's going with the CW, so there isn't really much to do. But it's definitely a gigantic what if. You know what I mean? Sticking with AEW, according to Venues Now, AEW Revolution drew 16,118 fans and generated more than $1 million in gross ticket sales. So what you want from this is the start of something new. You want most of those people who came to see the show, who bought the tickets, all that sort of stuff, you want them to be new fans, you want them to be people who are new to AEW or even new to the wrestling scene, because you want those people to come back, right? Ticket sales have not really been doing so hot for AEW, so the hope is that this is going to start, flicking them in the upward direction. I can't really guarantee that. I don't even think they can guarantee that. It's a nice number, right? That's what you want, $1 million in ticket sales. I'm sure that's boosting them. I'm sure the morale is very high, but I'm assuming that it's just going to go back to plateauing. Like, this is great and all, but like, it's more than likely just going to go right back to what it was doing before. So the hope is that this is going to help them, right? You want the people who came to see this to be like, wow, this is really good. Not only do I want to come back and see this, I want to recommend this to other people. That's what you want. I mean, that's what everybody wants, but that's pretty much what AEW wants right now, you know? They've got Kazuchika and they've got Mercedes, but like, those are people that only the hardcore fans are going to know. And AEW is lucky because I would say that the ratio is like 70-30 in terms of hardcore fans versus casual fans. I would say the ratio for WWE is 70-30 in the other, well, no, I would say 60-40 in the other direction, 60 casual, 40 hardcore. So you're lucky that you've got people who watch your product who know who those people are, but I think WWE is doing way better than AEW in terms of trying to get everybody on board just universally, and I don't think that AEW is doing that. So on one hand, this is great. The numbers are great. People watching is great. This is great. On the other hand, though, what does this translate to? You know what I mean? Is this going to keep happening? And I'm not saying that this is the exact number that they have to keep reaching for, but like, are you going to get any closer to this, or is this it? Are you going to capitalize off of this? What are you going to do about this? Or is this nothing more than just a fond memory? Nothing more than just, wow, remember when we sold $1 million in tickets and had a 16,000 gate? Remember that? Too bad that we're never going to get back to that ever again. You know? I'm not saying AEW is never going to be able to do that again, but if they want to be able to get back to something like this, they're going to have to figure out a way to corral as many people back into AEW as they possibly can. Finally, Shapiro also said that Peacock's deal for domestic rights to WWE PLEs is, quote, underpriced, especially given that they're, quote, massively performing and exceeding Peacock owner NBC Universal's expectations. He says Netflix, Apple, and others have inquired about the rights, which come up again in 2026. He's got a point. I mean, these last, 6, 7 pay-per-views are doing absolutely fantastic. And, I'm sure the initial, price that they went in with the initial deal definitely is it's time for an upgrade for sure. And it does make a lot of sense that Shapiro would be like, hey, these are doing great and we're not getting as much money out of this as we should. So, you've also got a bunch of other people circling around us right now, right? They can smell the money a mile away, which is why they're here in the first place. So I don't blame him for saying something like that, right? There's not really much that they can do. There's not much to really say because the deal is pretty much set. We can't really do anything. We have to wait until 2026. I mean, I doubt that we're really going to be hearing anything about this after this because, can't really, you just gotta sit and, and wait unless, maybe someone can come up out of the woodwork and be like, gosh darn it, I can't wait any longer. Here's dollars, but then wouldn't that be poaching? I guess, I don't know. I have not nary a clue how it works. So, there's not really much to say because, they have to wait. So 2026 is going to be very eventful for Netflix and Peacock and WWE, so only time will tell what's going to happen. What are we talking about? Sting did not need to win his last match. He didn't. He could have lost, and everything would have been fine. He still would have got a standing ovation. It literally would not have changed anything. The Young Bucks were nothing more than a vehicle just to get into his last match, and the match was great, but again, he didn't need to win. Good to know that Darby's okay. I like that they did actually take precaution. They weren't just like, just go out there and we'll figure it out. So I am glad that they were, practicing proper safety precautions, right? So while they were there to support Sting, PW Insider says DDP and Lex Luger weren't shown on the Revolution broadcast due to their contractual obligations to WWE, okay? Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair were like, I don't have to worry about that, and immediately went out there. They were involved in the match, but still. According to venues now, AEW Revolution... Oh yeah, I already read this anyway. You want this to, help them? You want this to be some type of some type of catalyst for them to be like, wow, we did really good. Let's try and bounce off of this. I'm sure that's what they're going to try and do, right? That's the hope. Listen, man, call me whatever you want. Call me as cynical as you want. I really don't think this is going to do anything. I think that this is great, but I feel like Tony Khan is going to be like, wow, this is really good. I'm sure everyone who watched is just going to automatically come back and keep watching. So the hope is that they see these numbers and this motivates them to try and capitalize off of this. That's what you want, right? Initially, Netflix was going to talk about NXT. That would have been interesting. It didn't happen, but it would have been interesting. Shapiro said that Peacock's deal for domestic rights is underpriced. They could be making a lot more money with the whole Peacock deal, with the PLE thing, which I wholeheartedly agree with, because these PLEs have been doing absolutely fantastic, right? So you obviously want to get more bang for your buck. And again, the deal initially probably was not expecting for the pay-per-views to be doing so well, but now they are. And Shapiro was like, hey, we need to be getting more money out of this, which I completely understand. So hopefully that's something that they end up doing when 2026 rolls around. And finally, Matt Hardy's AEW contract is set to expire next month per Fightful Select. Great. Who cares? I listen. No offense to Matt Hardy, but like, he's not doing anything. He's not involved in a storyline. His brother's injured again. So who cares, man? Get him out of here. He's not doing anything. Good luck to him in his future endeavors. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.